and our nervous system is the body as well. So like
Mm.
when we learn how to clear out the subconscious mind, the nervous system, and learn for it to really be clear and clean and regulated, then we're able to tune in way better to like reality. And you're able to feel into like people, places, situations, and it's like, oh, is my body okay for this? Is this what I want? Does it feel good in my heart, in my body to accept this, to lean into this? Or is it like, heck no, that's not for me. That doesn't look good. That doesn't sound good or feel good. And you'll be able to navigate life like way easier. But when we haven't learned to clear it, then, we're always so programmed. Our nervous system automatically wants to be constricted and heavy, like when things don't go our way. And then, like, we are so programmed to just stay there or to numb ourselves or to suppress it in some way instead of allowing it to feel, like you mentioned earlier. Like when you
Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the Gnostic Connection. I'm your host and metaphysical detective, Damien Sebujan. The Gnostic Connection is dedicated to exploring the esoteric behind the exoteric in an attempt to excavate the golden light of truth. As a metaphysical detective, my role for each show is to investigate a specific topic of interest, uncover its inner wisdom, and share with you, the listener, my findings. Feel free to accept, reject, or modify my findings as you see fit. For today's episode, I will be making the Gnostic Connection with... Tonight's guest is someone I'm genuinely honored to welcome onto the Gnostic Connection, my friend Alexander J. Fox. I first met Alexander in Hot Springs in 2022 when we were both attending high-vibrational spiritual gatherings at a remarkable little venue called the Star Portal. From the start, what struck me most was Alexander's open-hearted, adventurous spirit, the kind of presence that is both grounding and contagious. He carries a rare energy, calm, encouraging, deeply alive, and genuinely rooting for the people around him. At that point in my own life, my wife Andria and I had recently left behind our conventional 9-to-5 world in Western New York. We had sold or given away nearly everything that wouldn't fit into our 4-door Honda Civic and set out into the unknown. We landed in Arkansas with no real plan, no clear schedule, and, if I'm being honest, a fair amount of uncertainty. Alexander offered me a healing session during that time that helped bring me back to center. It grounded me in the present moment and helped me reframe what felt like chaos into possibility. What also inspired me were the stories Alexander shared from his own travels, stories of challenge, synchronicity, courage, and what some might call miracles. Hearing them gave both Andrea and me renewed confidence in our own path. Alexander has a gift for helping people feel that life is still full of wonder, opportunity, and freedom. And that gift was forged through experience. Alexander's own journey includes overcoming a 6-year battle with Crohn's disease and breaking free from multiple addictions. He didn't merely recover, he transformed. Today, this Cleveland native and world traveler serves as a somatic embodiment coach devoted to helping others reclaim their vitality and feel truly alive again. His path later brought him to Austin, where he spent several years leading powerful events and deep transformational sessions. Now he continues that work online through healing events and one-on-one coaching, blending practical wisdom with the sacred through modalities such as somatic breathwork, Reiki, energy healing, and high-performance life coaching. What I appreciate most about Alexander is that he doesn't just speak about healing, freedom, and purpose, he lives it. He embodies vulnerability, authenticity, and service to the highest good in a way that is both humble and deeply inspiring. So, wherever you're listening from, settle in and open your heart as we welcome a man committed to helping others awaken to the best and highest version of themselves, Alexander J. Fox. Okay, Alexander Fox, how are you doing?
I'm great, Damien. How are you feeling today? It's great to see you.
Oh, I'm feeling much better today. Good to see you. It's been a long time.
It has truly,
But-
like at least face to
Mhm.
face, long time.
Yeah. I follow you on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, so I've been keeping abreast of a lot of your stuff, um, your posts, which are very heartwarming and a good way to get my morning started to listened to one of your posts.
Mm.
So you've been traveling a lot, right? I mean, you were in Costa Rica for a while.
That's right. Yeah, I spent 3 months there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was that your first time there?
Second time there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what are your, I've never been there myself, but I
Okay.
know a lot of people who have. They always say how amazing it is.
Every single person. It's such a place where just transformation, realizations happen, and you
Mm-hmm.
just feel so light and so free. The food's amazing down there. I love picking fruit from the trees.
Mm.
There's a lot of great pockets of like spiritual communities as well. Um,
Yeah.
just driving in the countryside, like in the buses and stuff, and you're just like, oh wow, you're on one part of the country, there's like a volcano, and then like on the other side, there's just huge mountains, or you're driving by, the ocean. And
Mm.
there's endless amounts of scenery. It's beautiful basically everywhere you go, and it's hard to travel. Like there's always like one way roads. Like there's no like back streets that we have in the States. Like it could take you so long to get from one side of the country to the other. But if they actually had other roads, you probably get there a lot sooner. But
Mm.
it's all part of the
And
journey.
were you there just kind of like to vacation and check it out, or what was your calling?
Yeah. So I knew like when I moved out of Texas and went back to Ohio, I wasn't supposed to be there for a long time. It was just a short time to kind of regroup, kind of rest and see like what my next steps were. And I just prayed to God. I was like, God, I don't know where to go. I don't really know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to move out of Texas, come back to Ohio, but what's next? Like, I don't know. And I started getting synchronicities to Costa Rica, and I saw a Porta Vida license plate, which is their saying. It means like pure life, or like no worries, as some would say. And I saw a license plate in my hometown that said Porta Vida, and I was like, okay. And then I started getting more of these, synchronistic moments. People talking about Costa Rica, people I knew that were going to travel there, and I was like, oh, this feels such in alignment for what my soul's wanting. And then I was like, okay, when do I go? And then I'm watching a movie with my parents. And at the very end of the movie, there's a gravestone and it said September 14th, like 1989 or something. But as soon as I saw September 14th, it hit my heart. And I was like, that's the day I'm supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I booked my ticket and it one way.
Wonderful. Um, let's talk about that. The people talk about synchronicities all the time, and
Hmm.
one thing that I recognize about synchronicities myself is that when you're freer, when you don't, when you're like traveling in that traveling mode, they're all over the place all the time. And you like see you meet people from like from your hometown or something, and like I remember in Cambodia when I lived there for a year, it was crazy. I met somebody from Buffalo who went to the same university as me, and then we ended up becoming like super good friends, and like and just all kinds of synchronicities. What would happen is like you're almost like on a river of just if you surrender to it and just take note and oh yeah, okay, I'll go there, I'll do this thing, and yeah. So how what's your process? How do you ask questions and then you let the signs kind of reveal themselves, and how does that work for you?
Yes. First of all, that's crazy. You met someone from your hometown in Cambodia. That's that's a really it's not even like a small world anymore. It's like more of a an energetic alignment world.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
for me with synchronicities, at first, like back in like 2019, I like they started coming up for me like when Alabama was really prevalent in my life. I never moved there, but like I had an awakening there, but I had all these synchronicities that kind of just led me there. And I didn't really ask any questions until I saw too many synchronicities. And I was like, what is actually happening here? I don't know why I'm seeing this so much. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just excited, but I was questioning it. And then there was times like where, you know, I'd see a sign, and at first you don't really know that it's a sign, right? Like, because you could just see something, it's like, oh yeah, just everyday life. But
Mm-hmm.
then the next day you see it again, or you see it in a rhyming way. Like when I first went to Costa Rica, I started seeing um, Texas, and I started seeing like the Longhorn symbol, and I was like, oh, that's Austin, Texas University. That's the Longhorns. And I was like, why am I seeing this so much? And then I started meeting people from Texas that even lived in Austin. And I was like, oh my God, I think I'm supposed to move here. And then it just started coming up and up again in just all these different ways. And then at some point, there's just no denying it. You see it too much. The universe knows that either you're not listening within, or that you're just so connected to synchronicity that just keeps happening for you, and it feels good and you're in alignment. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then what about like, so then when you help make decisions based on those synchronicities, do you get rewarded for doing it?
Yes, there's different ways you can get rewarded. Like at first, when I told the universe, like, okay, I think I got to move to Austin, Texas, but I don't know how this is going to happen. And then I ended up meeting a woman in Costa Rica who said that she had an extra bedroom that she's looking to rent out in Austin, Texas. And then I was like, okay, this is again first I'm like, okay, this is actually insane, you know? And I think it was so clear and so divine that I even like had my ego freak out. And then I even told the opportunity, like, no, I'm not gonna go further with this. I was going in deep, and I thought I was gonna like make the jump. And then at the last second or so, I freaked out
Hmm.
because I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to being in this flow state with like, keeping on, with the river that was taking me down that course. And then
Mm-hmm.
about 4 months later, I did realize, like, oh, okay, I'm really supposed to be here. Now I kind of have to figure this out on my own when it was already planned out for me, and I messed it up. So
Right, but it didn't close completely,
it did
the
not
door.
close completely. No, thank
Uh,
God. Because
yeah.
sometimes it can.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that one joke about the guys. There's a hurricane and there's a flood, and this guy's like on a boat or he's on a house or something that's sinking, and he's praying to God, and then a helicopter comes, and they're like, "Get on board," and he's like, "No, I'm waiting for God," and then they leave, and then the guy on a boat comes by, and they're like, "Come on board," and he's like, "No, I'm waiting for God," and then he ends up dying and goes to heaven. He's like, God, I prayed to you and you didn't come save me. And he's like, what are you talking about? I sent a boat and I sent a helicopter. I think he sent a couple other things too.
Yeah.
And you didn't take them. So it's like recognizing that the world isn't always going to present its angelic rescuing, or it's not going to say, hi, you should do this, angel, oh, that's an angel. I go, it's going to come to us in familiar ways that we're used to in this matrix of the world that we live in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a great story. It's so prevalent for just the journeys that we're both on,
hmm
and many others.
Yeah, and recognizing when to make the leap, when not to. For me, sometimes mixing intuitive hits with ego desires, um, all that discernment. How do you deal with discernment? What's do you do like muscle testing, or you ask yourself and see how your body feels? Like, what do you do?
I do both. So I will do muscle testing. I'm starting to do more of like how the body feels. So if I have like two decisions to make and I have to pick one, then I'll place one on like each side of me, like energetically just out in front of me. And then
Mm,
I'll lean into this way, I'll face it. I'll be like, okay, if I'm supposed to move to Florida, or I'll say, I'm definitely moving to Florida. Florida is the new place for me. It feels so electric and exciting in my body. Like this is the way. And then I'll tune in to see how my heart feels. And right now, it doesn't want me to move to Florida.
Hmm.
But then I'll move over here and I'll be like, okay, my heart wants me to move to Asheville, North Carolina. This is the place for my soul. This is where my heart feels light and happy and connected. And this is the way. And that's where I'm moving to next.
Hmm. For real, you're moving to Asheville?
Yeah, probably in
Oh wow.
August. So,
Yeah, I've been there a few times.
oh, beautiful.
That's I'm gonna have to hook you up with a friend of mine.
Yeah,
She's in
please do.
she's in Black Mountain.
Oh, yeah, that's about
Um,
20 minutes east,
yeah,
northeast of Asheville.
it's got a growing spiritual community, and she's part of it. She's like a maven. She's like connected with all these different people, and she's very outgoing. Triple Libra, Libra, Sun, Libra, Moon, Libra rising. Yeah. So, what is your main thing? What propels you as a in your spiritual life?
What propels me? I love being of service. I love witnessing the miracles and like the energetic shifts that like when I work with people or when I host events or classes, like I can just feel the shift in their nervous system from like where they were that was feeling like maybe, having doubt or worry or, shame or guilt or just feeling less than or very heavy or in a low vibration. And then like when I work with them, I can feel that shift happen like very quickly. And then it's just like that epiphany, that new spark of awareness. And then it's like, okay, and like how do we build upon that? How do we expand that? How do we get them to embody it more and take more aligned action and trust in this feeling that this is the new way. This is the new energetic alignment to like keep moving forward. And when I've seen too many even like unprecedented miracles or like things that people would say like that sounds impossible. That sounds like a fictional story you just made up.
Hmm.
And from my experiences, I've seen these things like people heal from incurable diseases and illnesses literally within minutes or even a few hours or even in a few days. And they tell me, they're like, how did you do this? And I'm like, it's not just me. It's like
Hmm.
it's like you and me and God and source and our teams in spirit. Like, it's that whole energetic connection. And
Yeah.
when I've seen
Yeah.
too many of them, I just like I can't turn my head anymore. I can't turn the other cheek. It's just this gets to happen more, and those are the moments I get to live for with
Hmm.
them.
So you're Reiki trained?
Yes, I do Reiki energy. I do somatic healing, which is one that I'm learning right now. And then I do breath work facilitation. I know like 5 different modalities, but with like probably 30 different techniques. And then I also do life coaching as well. And then it's like my holy trinity. And then I
Hmm.
combine it into somatic. Um, I am a somatic embodiment coach.
Could you explain what that involves a little bit?
Yeah, just getting people out of their mind and into their body because like the body keeps the score. You ever heard of that book?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So basically, it explains that like our body is our subconscious mind and that it is held on to all of the feelings and the emotions and the memories and the situations of our past. And Carl Jung, famous Swiss psychologist, said we've remembered 93 to 97% of everything that's ever happened in our lives, that it was conscious or unconscious. And that gets stored in the body. So even if you weren't even paying attention to certain things and they somehow subliminally just got placed into your aura, into your body, your heart, then it gets trapped in there. And then everything gets placed into a melting pot and then it just like rises up into steam or seeds grow is another way. And then that's just kind of how you live your reality. It's just how you've currently been living until you become aware. Like Jung said, like, can you be aware of the shadow selves in the ways that's harming you or keeping you down and out or uninspired? And it's like, okay, what can we do to look at our shadow selves and bring those to the light to feel more light within and more heart centered and have a drive to like, do more in life.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
I find that shadow work is like a huge part of my practice. I it's one of the things that I realized about shadow work that I thought it was just like going back into your past and then like acknowledging those past and healing the past, like from trauma. But it's also recognizing your patterns of behavior and thought patterns and where you have blind spots, like, and recognizing that the people in your life are great mirrors. And when you judge somebody, that's just you denying that behavior in yourself, and or you're trying to resist an emotion
Mm.
that triggers. And so instead of feeling the emotion, you're judging the person or the situation. Joe Hudson is I don't know if you know him. He's a great teacher in the emotional world.
Okay.
And he's been very helpful in doing my own shadow work with my emotions. And and anger, like part of it is like judging emotion, like judging shame, judging guilt, judging anger, judging all that stuff. So because I don't want to be those things, so then I don't recognize them in myself when they arise, or oh, that's anger, that's not good, and then stuffing it down. And then that
Hmm.
stuff just builds up in your body, and then as you were saying, like steam. That's sort of what, for me, how it materializes is migraines every 7 to 10 days, and
Mm. Wow.
lately, yeah. And then yeah, like I said earlier, social media fasting is very important for me,
Hmm.
because
Amen.
I think, and just recognizing the sensitivity that I have, um, and that part of that sensitivity is realizing that if I'm intaking like this all this negative news, and then it registers some kind of emotional response, a lot of times anger or sadness or grief, and but instead of processing it, I'm like, we need to stop sending money to Israel or whatever. Like it's like I like as if that's going to do anything. And in the meantime, I'm ignoring my own body reactions and my emotions and trying and acting on anger instead of feeling the anger. And
Mm.
I recognize that there's a big difference between acting on an emotion and letting yourself feel it.
Yeah.
But
Amen to that.
so, what is some of the somatic? Is there like exercises that you practice or that you recommend people do? And is it all depend on the person, the individual, and what they're going through?
You know, I do have practices, and it also depends on the individual as well. So, like I've had a few clients, like they don't really like to meditate. Like meditating
Mm.
can be really hard for some people to just sit there and be, and that totally makes sense. So it's like, okay, what other things can we do? Like if it's got to be more movement, more physical, then dancing is a great way to move energy in the body. Just find some songs that don't have a lot of words in it, I recommend, and then just doing whatever movements in your body that just feel so good for you to just express yourself.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's one of the
Do you
best
know about
ways.
ecstatic dance?
Oh yeah, I sure do.
Yeah. I've been to a couple of them and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they are a lot of fun, and sometimes it could be a lot of energy too, because it's a lot of spiritual people that go to these things, and a lot of them are pretty high vibes, and
Yeah.
sometimes that can be very overstimulating. But for the most part, they've been so great and very healing and very fun and very freeing.
Yeah, it's and transcendent in some way. Like I injured my ankle 3 years ago really badly, and it's still not healed 100%. Like I still can't run the way I want to and stuff. But for some
Mhm.
reason, when I go to an ecstatic dance, I can dance like crazy for like they go for 2 3 hours, and I like nonstop. I didn't even know, and the time would be over. I'd be sweating, feeling so good, and my no issues with my ankle. Like, what is up with that? Is if I were to go to a club and dance to the same type of techno music, I don't think it would be the same thing.
Mm,
There'd be alcohol involved. There'd be like a different vibe, but in the ecstatic dance vibe, everyone's there for their own individual healing and or whatever it is, and you're in your own kind of pocket, but then you're also connected to the pocket of the room. And it is like for me, the DJ is awesome. Puts really good heartfelt beats out there,
that's right.
and then everybody is creating their own vibes. And I don't know if that just does something to my body somatically where I could like that my ankle was fine the whole time.
Yeah, truly. It's just that whole connection with everyone in the room. Like everyone's on that same vibration frequency.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's what are some other things that you've done? What's the most amazing thing you've seen working with somebody experienced as a healer?
The most
Or some you don't have to I don't know if it's going to be one thing, but go ahead.
like the most like eye-opening, like the craziest one, or like the most like divine miracle I saw, or
Yeah,
like
give me a couple.
okay. So all right, so there was a guy I worked with in Austin, Texas, and this dude, like you look at him and he's like 6'3", he's buff, and you would think just by looking at him, oh, he's got everything together. Like, you know, but like internally, this dude was like a pretty big wreck. He was just like kind of maneuvering through life. Like he knew what he was good at, but he was always so hard on himself. He would talk himself out of situations, talk himself down. He couldn't accept compliments. He had a really rough childhood, like where his sisters abused him, and his family did not show him any kind of love. They were always hard on him, and he'd been through a few really bad breakups, and it was just hard for him to like recover. So when he started working with me after this, or in the middle of the second session, I felt that shift like in his heart, and we had like 15 minutes left in the session, and I already got through the breath work, or we already did the life coach talking, and then we already did the energy healing, and then I'm just like, what am I gonna do now? I still have 15 minutes left, but like he's on the table, he's resting, he's in his trance, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta hold space. So I just stood there holding space for him for the next like 13 minutes or so, and then like out of the blue, he like rises up, and then he turns, and then his legs are like dangling off the table, and then he brings his head down to his like knees, and he lets out like the loudest scream I think I've heard anyone ever do. And then he starts screaming over and over and over again, and I'm just standing there just holding it for him.
Hmm.
And I had never had that happen before, like on a one-on-one. Like when I've done breathwork sessions with like 50 people and it was just me, yeah, that's normal. But like with this one-on-one, like he like unlocked something that was so deep within his subconscious that like it came out, and he had to scream it out because nothing else was going to work in that moment.
Wow. Because that is not something that most people would do in front of another human.
Hardly at all, no.
Yeah, that so you unlocked something that let him be vulnerable. I guess that holding space and everything you did before unlocks something, and that he stopped his resistance and it came out. Did you get to any of post stuff with him? Have you seen him since?
I keep in touch with him every now and then. We worked for about 3 months together last summer. Um, he wrote a review on my Google page, and then I actually got to write a review on him because he's not an American, he's from overseas. So like he had to get a green card, and or no, not a green card. He's already a citizen, but just not, you know, just to I forgot what it was, but there's something about immigration, like where they needed people to vouch for him that he was actually doing
Mm,
really good things, being here in the States. So he had to get a lawyer. And,
wow.
he called me. He's like, hey, I have a lawyer reaching out. Like, he just needs you to write a really good review about me. And like, he even asked me to tell the lawyer, like, the work that we did together and like how far he's come and, how much I've seen him grow and expand and just, really start to love himself more and like all this stuff. Um,
Mm.
so I talked to him about probably about 3 weeks ago. So
Wow, that's awesome. That must feel good to know that you can have that kind of impact on somebody.
yeah,
Now they're an American.
right. Yeah. And, he's helped a lot of other people as well. And because he was fully to like really help himself and do the work, face his shadows, the grief, the heaviness, and to really learn like how to embody this lightness and this, alignment for action and courage and just showing up and being a leader, he's doing phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
Well, one thing that struck me about you right away was you sort of are like the embodiment of the fool in the tarot, which is like amazing card to it's called the fool, but it comes from the folie, the French word, which means air, and well, bag of wind is what it means, but it's rouage, and it's basically if you are in touch with that rouage, that divine wind, you just let things you go where you're supposed to go. You have a lightness about you. You're like, you see life as an adventure and you're just open and ready to receive everybody that comes in your path. And you just have this optimism and a brightness about you that is very contagious and lights up a room. And I noticed that right away as soon as I saw you. And I was like, please come to my class. Just for your energy. And then I got to do a session with you, and I've had lots of Reiki done, and I don't think anything comes close to how I felt after being on the table with what you did, and which is interesting because Reiki is supposed to be Reiki, like it's divine energy, but I did notice that the vessel that it's going through must make a difference to some extent because I have different experiences, and maybe also me being in different states during those times is also I receive it differently those times. But it was really a very I could see where all the things that you've told me with experiences you've had with other people that have felt very legit. Yeah, so I'm very happy that these years later that you're still doing it and expanding and spreading the word as they say.
yeah, wow, thank you.
Mhm.
That's a huge compliment. I fully received that.
How do you manage to do all the traveling that you do and then stay in contact with your with doing your online stuff and then your healing with people? Do you just how does that work?
Yeah, it feels like because like I've moved around a lot ever since I started doing this as a business back in 2022, like it's always been just a little bit different. So, like when I'm grounded in a place like Austin, Texas, like I'm in person a lot. There's a lot of events, hosting classes. I meet tons of people at different, groups and gatherings and community centers. And like life was a little bit challenging, but everything always had a way of flowing. And it was just amazing. I felt like I didn't have to overdo or overextend too much, which is great because, if I take on too much, then or if I try to do too much, like I can feel that. And
Hmm.
it's like not fun. It's almost like burning yourself out, both ends of the candle. Um, but then like when I moved to a new place, like when I went to Boulder, Colorado, that's like when I really had to slow down and just kind of be by myself and do some more stuff online instead of in person. And now coming back to Cleveland, I've taken a lot of rest, but then I'm also like, okay, I really want to build something sustainable, and doing it online makes the most sense right now until, I go to my new place. But I want something consistent, and I want to be able to be of service and to, help myself, help others. It makes the most sense to do it online. So just trying to find balance, doing some new things to get an online platform to build community on it, which I'll share after this part, and learn like new automation, set up a new email address and get a new domain, and to like really build something special and continue to just share my gifts.
And you find that that's a really good way to because the online thing there you're not isolated in to one area. It's the whole world is open to you. Um,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and and do you find that the more you do it, the more you clients you're getting, or how is that happening?
Yeah. So when I started doing it more online than I've ever done it, it started last year in like July when I came back to Cleveland. I started doing these events for somatic breath work and energy healing. So I started doing those online, and they just started to slowly just grow and build like every single time. It takes a lot because I got to invite people, via DM or a text message to get them on board and
Hmm.
to follow through with it. So that's been a little challenging because it's so many people. Um, so, but I love doing it, and people love getting to go through that experience, having mystical experiences, getting epiphanies, feeling so light, grounded, confident, clear, and just alive. It's
Yeah.
it's amazing. So being able to take that anywhere, then I'm not tied down to any place. I don't have to like sign huge commitments, and you know, I it just feels so much better and lighter for me knowing it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to move to Asheville and then just start everything from scratch, like with something that I've already built and building upon. So I can just go there and just be like, okay, I don't have to like hit the ground running. I can just kind of take my time, and I still have everything I can do online, and then slowly meet people, get some things building and see like what else is possible. Yeah, it's it's my dream to build online community because it's like, okay, if we can at least get it online and then get people used to the energies, the people, so like we can all connect. Cause, I was just doing it on Zoom, and, it was like the same group of people plus extra ones that come in like every month. And I'm just like, I love doing this, but like I want more, you know, like I want all the people who are joining to have more. And like, what else can I do? So, it's kind of like Patreon, but I'm going to use School, Alex Hormozy's online school platform.
Hmm.
And so people can talk on a discussion board, they can message each other, they can get all the info, the updates, extra coursework. And I'm going to be doing 2 breathwork and energy healing events a month so that we can get a little bit more out of it. It's a paid subscription, so I don't have to worry about people paying all the time and typing in their credit card information. It'll just be a few clicks. Everyone can sign up, and it's easy, and you'll get reminders. And then we start growing it, and then I see it becoming more in person. Like we'll do in person retreats eventually, and then I see us doing or having an ecosystem community village of some sort.
Nice.
So I don't know where or when or how,
Hmm.
but that's the vision I get, and my heart feels so open for that. And I just want people to feel good, to feel safe, and to have fun, and to like grow and to work together, and just make life easier to live. So like we don't have to be putting up with, like we said, the matrix borders
Hmm.
and controllings. It's like, okay, let's be in control, but also allow God to, creator source to flow through us as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a great direction to take the next part of this conversation because that's sort of what I'm seeing and feeling
Mm-hmm.
and being led to myself is it's time to sort of unplug from being from knowing everything that's going on in the world to recognizing that everything that's going on in the world is demanding of your attention and then draining your energy. It's almost like vampiric. So why not use our energy to create the world that we want? We know that the world that's on the news isn't it is going down. It's time to transform that and for us to stop participating in it and then to create the world we want. And we don't need a government permission to do it. We don't need a big corporation to give us permission to do it. We can just start doing it. And we're doing that here in Willits, is where I'm living, Willits, California, in Mendocino County.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
there's this whole food sustainability. Everyone's like sharing gardens, and we meet weekly to talk about even like how can we create our own economy, our own currency even, and it's and yeah, we're not asking for permission, we're just doing it. And uh, it's definitely a challenge, all the egos that are involved, um,
Mm-hmm.
but realizing that we have the same goal is helpful, and using the online tools to stay in contact with each other. Yeah, I got to check out that school. I think I checked it out once, but I didn't really understand it, and that was like a couple years ago. But I keep
Mm-hmm.
seeing notifications where I think it's growing, and it's
Mm-hmm.
seems like a really good platform.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah. First of all, that's amazing that you guys are already starting to like think about that and like implementing it and getting new ideas and stuff. Cause yeah, I don't really know the future of this world, but the ways of community and really coming together and building our own things, that's definitely the way. We may not know
Yeah.
exactly how that's going to look in every single aspect, especially with what you said with all the ego minds. It's
Hmm.
like, oh, this way, this way. Oh, but what about if that happens or if this happens, then it's like, okay, yes. And how do we come together? How does this work for everyone? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of people all over the place having those uh, intuitive hits and looking for their own people in their where they are, creating communities, and it's great. I love it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I hope it keeps spreading, because I have noticed that people aren't buying a lot of the lies that they used to buy, and so the next step, instead of trying to combat it directly or to get too absorbed in it and then like get into that left right dynamic competition thing, is to just like, well, what makes us all human, and what do we need as individual humans, as sovereign beings,
Mm,
and how do we support each other, and that's also a unique thing too, like we're sovereign beings and yet we're in community. How do we support each other's sovereignty, and keep the group together, and growing and
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a doozy because there's going to be a lot of us,
Hmm.
but I think it's going to have a way of working out, like, especially if this is like what our creator wants more of, because creator's definitely not about all those governments and all that stuff, like those are all just ran by, those other
Mm.
people. So,
Yeah.
but there's definitely a will in this, and we have the will, and there's definitely going to be a way for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I call them the dark magicians.
And we are the
And
light magicians.
exactly.
Yeah, that is a trap, that's for sure.
Hmm.
And it is people can fall so hard into that rabbit hole. And I used to go through it. I used to argue all the time for politics, Democrat, Republican, just it was just insane to me. And then at one point, I remember getting into an argument with somebody and I had a vision of like arguing with this person of like exactly what I was going to say, what they were going to say, and it was just going back and forth in my mind. And then like the next day, I ended up having that same argument with that person in the physical that I had in my mind.
Whoa.
And it was like exactly word for word. And then I was like, did I create this or was this just a vision? And then I was like meditating on it and I was just really sitting with it. And I said, okay, if I created it, then what would it be like if I created the next conversation me and this person had? Because me in the conversation that me and this person had, it was heavy. It was we were yelling at each other because we had different views. And then I was like, this is not worth it because we're gonna like lose our relationship over the stuff that's trying to divide us, you know? So then I imagined a whole new conversation in my mind where like I kept my cool. Even when they were trying to yell their voice, they would keep it calm and they would match me instead of me matching them. And then like I would say things that were more in alignment for like peace and for like people all together. So I wasn't like choosing sides. It's like, how did I become the peacemaker? And then probably about 2 days later, that conversation happened almost exactly the way that I had it in my mind. And then it like saved our relationship.
Wow. That's awesome. That's kind of like those fighters who imagine the whole fight before they step into the ring. And then a lot of times it'll work. Although I don't know if the other guy does the same thing and who
Yeah. And I guess it
but
just depends on who had it stronger or more embodied or,
yeah. But I doubt that he was doing the same thing that you were doing.
oh, yeah, not at all. He's not spiritual
Mm-hmm.
at all. He's all about like math and science, government, and, all this stuff and the news. So like, I knew what I was up against. It just took me a few tries to like, oh, wait a minute. What am I really doing here? What can really happen?
Yeah. That's I find that talking to people who are very steeped in kind of like left brain thinking, like very into science and logic and mental, like IQ and all that stuff, are sometimes very trapped by those ideologies,
Hmm.
and they have elevated those ideologies as like truth, and so anybody that's on the other side of that, they just look down upon automatically, and and then it informs how they react to people. So it's like people who are Christian get put in the same bracket, the same as those that are spiritual or light workers or whatever. That they're all they're just phony balonies and they don't know what they're talking about. And I use evidence and science, and this is the truth. And it's sometimes harder to get through to those type of people. For me, do you run across that?
Yes, I do. And I have what I believe and feel is probably the best explanation that you could ever give one of those people. And
What's that?
I'll share it. So if someone tells me it's like, oh, it's all about the science and logic and everything, it's like, oh, that's great. You believe in science. Okay. Then you should have no problems with what I'm about to tell you. Everything is energy. Science proves that it's electromagnetism. We are energetic beings having a human experience. We can literally conduct electricity. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Albert Einstein stated that. And if we're energetic beings having a human experience, then we can literally alchemize energy with our own beings.
Yep. And what's the reaction you get?
But well,
Yeah,
because they don't know it that way, you know.
right. They don't
But
know
like,
it in the personal level. It's like something that's out there to know.
yeah,
And science like separates the observer from what they're observing, even though quantum physics tells us there is no separation.
yes, everything is molecules.
Hmm.
Like we're all connected. Like I could just send molecules over to you. And science doesn't even really know how that happens.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. What I know there's this big push these days, and I'm doing it myself, of communicating to the cells in the body,
Mhm.
and getting a relationship with the cells. Um, is there any? Do you do any of that with your somatics?
Yes, there's actually a project that I'm working on with myself because like I want to know how it makes me feel and like what's happening, internally with me, especially in the subconscious mind because I've had a lot of stuff that everyone would not want to have had happen in their lives.
Mm,
And a lot of that got stored in myself. So, um, I'm actually working on a project like where I actually connect to like divine ascended masters and I work with them to help me like clear out my subconscious mind in like different ways. It's almost like in some ways hypnotizing myself or getting into like a deep meditative trance or state. Sometimes I just call upon them like right before I go to bed and like I'll let it go. And I just ask for like this divine healing to help clear out my subconscious minds. I connect to one would be Jesus or the other one would be Krishna, which are,
mm.
you know, basically the same person, right? Just different
Yeah,
sides of the world. Yeah.
but yeah, they're the same, basically energy, same teachings,
Hmm. Exactly.
love and heart based world worldview. Um, wow, that's so. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So, specifically, like when I call upon Jesus and Krishna to help me just clear out the subconscious of like what's holding me back, like why do I still have some of these heavy duty thoughts? Can you please clear them? And, just like anything that I know that like I've either had thoughts about from my past or anything that still affects me or holds me back or keeps me stagnant. It's like, please help. Like, let's clear this. Like, I've done so much on my own. It's like sometimes you can just call upon your angels or just divine ascended masters in some way and
Hmm.
they'll be there. They're already here. It's just like, can we set more intentions, I guess, to help the world, help ourselves, to feel more love, to feel more light, to feel more connected and embodied and grounded and confident in the way that we're showing up in life, having our authentic expression. And, I just combine as much as I think and I feel into in that moment of like what I need or even like what I want, and then just leave it up to them. Just get into a prayer and ask.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching the second Harry Potter movie last night, and I never fail. There's many times that I watch those movies, read the books, it never fails to, like, I always learn some new spiritual truth in them. Like there's this line that Dumbledore gives to Harry, and he says, "Just remember, there will always be help at Hogwarts for those who ask for it." And it's such a simple, like, huh, okay, but it's almost, you could just replace the word Hogwarts with like ascended masters. There will always be help from the ascended masters for those who ask for it. They're just there. You ask, and they, oh, okay, and that's what Hogwarts is there for Harry Potter and them. But like the ascended masters, the angels, like they're all there. They're in the ether.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the larger consciousness, and they represent the most high version. You know, they've lived all the lives, they've learned all the lessons, and now they're here to help us ascend, or whatever word you want to use. And yeah, I do it all the time. I have a huge spirit team. Sometimes I forget all the ones that are in it. You know, I wonder if they get jealous so I don't call on one over. How come you always asking for Jesus and Mary Magdalene? What about me? You know, oh, sorry, Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Kuan Yin.
Yeah, Kuan Yin. Yeah, that was who I was trying to think of too. That's
Sorry,
funny.
Sophia.
Yeah, yeah. But I think they're okay, and I think they're. I don't think they have those types of jealousies.
Yeah. Everyone's connected to who they, either born with or who they just found in that moment, or they found someone else that's like, oh yeah, I'm connected to them. And, if it feels like it's working out for them and it looks like it is too, then yeah, then it's just the energy and the connection that you have to kind of see like what else is possible.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Very good. Like, how can people reach you to find out more about you to join your school community?
So people can reach me at Alexander JFOX on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. If you need to email me, the Fox Wellness Den at Gmail. And yeah, I'm a somatic embodiment coach. I help people clear out their traumas, clear out their anxieties, really have their soul come online and get activated and start learning how to embody these really good energies. I teach people how to become Reiki masters. And honestly, it's way more than being a Reiki master at this point.
Hmm.
It's just something that everyone knows and understands, at least to extents. So that's the way I advertise it. But you're becoming way more than just a Reiki master. And when you go with me, of course.
Yeah, of course.
and
Yeah.
and for my online school community, so it's going to be called Your Soul Embodied, and it's going to be $35 a month, but you get two somatic breathwork and energy healing events that are live. And then we're also going to have like a community gathering at the end of each month. So everything's going to happen on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. East Coast time. So everyone in America will have a great opportunity to join. So it's not like on a weekday or on a work day
Hmm.
or anything like that. And you can get totally ready for the week, basically every single week and every month. And yeah, there'll be a great other courses so people can learn about manifesting and following synchronicities, learning how to read auras, to doing some shadow work. And then there'll be breath work and energy healing videos as well for people to do offline. And yeah,
Yeah. Sounds very, very all good practical stuff.
yeah. And learning how to like regulate the nervous system, learning about that as well. How to clear it, how to heal it, how to read it, how to tune into it. And yeah, and then connect with other amazing, like minded individuals and see how we can make heaven a reality for everyone and everything.
Nice. Hey, so would you mind closing on an example of exercise that you might give to somebody who would be on in this community?
Yeah. So let's tune in. Let me see. Okay. So I'll introduce two breath works for people. So there's one that you can do. It's in through your mouth, like you're sucking through a straw. So it'll go like, and then it's going to go out like, yeah, audible sigh out the mouth. And
Oh.
I recommend, like, if you're feeling tense or heavy or lethargic and you're just looking to clear out some energy and just feel like having vitality or just being energized, is a great breathing technique to do. And you can do it for like 2 or 3 minutes, go at your own pace. You don't have to go too fast and just like, and one important thing, your belly. When you inhale, the belly rises.
Hmm.
Exhale, the belly falls.
Yeah.
When we came out of the womb, when we were born, we were belly breathing.
Hmm.
And when we get older and we were never taught how to breathe, we breathe with our chest because it's, that flight or fight mode.
Yeah. Shallow breathing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One breathes with their chest when they're in the shallow breath. And that's usually like when life gets anxious or has stress and kind of confused or you're losing it, whatever the case may be. And that's a great technique to help you just bring back energy, presence, and then even just calming relaxation.
Why don't you talk about a little about the nervous system and how important that is, and also how kind of like it's the kind of the most programmed part of us.
Yeah. So because it's always been so programmed, and our nervous system is the body as well. So like
Mm.
when we learn how to clear out the subconscious mind, the nervous system, and learn for it to really be clear and clean and regulated, then we're able to tune in way better to like reality. And you're able to feel into like people, places, situations, and it's like, oh, is my body okay for this? Is this what I want? Does it feel good in my heart, in my body to accept this, to lean into this? Or is it like, heck no, that's not for me. That doesn't look good. That doesn't sound good or feel good. And you'll be able to navigate life like way easier. But when we haven't learned to clear it, then, we're always so programmed. Our nervous system automatically wants to be constricted and heavy, like when things don't go our way. And then, like, we are so programmed to just stay there or to numb ourselves or to suppress it in some way instead of allowing it to feel, like you mentioned earlier. Like when you can feel the emotions and you can sit with it instead of reacting to it, notice what it's trying to tell you, what it's wanting to show you, and then react. And then choose a conscious way to react to it.
And why does breath work for that?
When you do more intense breath work, you are sending signals to your nervous system that you are going to activate it. You're going to spike it because that allows the energies of the old to be released. And when you do that, then, stuff's going to come up. Some people like to scream. Some people like to cry or they move. And sometimes anger or guilt or shame, melancholy or, stress or memories from their past will want to show up. And we want that. We actually want those to come up because they've been so lodged, so ingrained within us. They just need an avenue to just be released. So, and another thing is when we do breath work, you're actually training your nervous system muscles to then actually be stronger and more equipped for then when the external reality wants to be loud and chaotic and crazy and heavy, because that's their way of bringing us down. It's through the nervous system, through the subconscious mind. So when you do a lot of breath work, then you're training yourself to, like, when external stimuli is trying to activate you, you're just like, oh, wait, I'm strong enough. This isn't going to affect me anymore. I'm not going to feel, I can feel the heaviness, but I'm not going to absorb it and allow it to be part of my life.
Nice. Great explanation. Thank you.
Yeah. After you do like the more intense breath work, it's like the one that I showed you guys with the mouth breathing, like after you do that for like 2 or 3 minutes and then maybe like a few rounds of doing it, then just simply go into a breathing technique that's very slow and restorative so you can relax the nervous system. And that'll be like inhaling for 4 seconds through your nose and then maybe exhaling through your mouth for 4 seconds. And then do that for a few rounds and then just notice what you're feeling and just know this is the way to slow down and to be regulated, to be in your body.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And these are just some tip of the iceberg exercises that you teach people and share with them.
Yes. And when I lead people like in big groups, it's like way more transformative and powerful because it's like kind of like ecstatic dancing when everyone's, in that same vibration and like they're all here for the same thing, but probably different reasons. Then, oh my God, like miracles, mystical experiences happen too. And it's just a lot of fun to be in it with different people.
Yeah. What about people who are stuck in that my circumstances are regulate my choices versus my choices transform my external environment?
Well, for me, so I used to have Crohn's disease.
Oh, okay. This is a great example.
Yeah, so I had that for 6 years. And going into the sixth year, I had like a big epiphany that like I had to quit all of my Western medicine. I had to go vegan. I had to get new friends. I had to change my career. I changed the music I was listening to. Um, I changed almost everything I possibly could because my old life, I probably would either be dead or in jail.
Oh, wow.
So like I knew I had to just change anything and probably everything. And it was hard. It was uncomfortable. Some of it was a lot of fun though, and it was great, but I was still feeling heavy at times and crazy and thinking about the future too much. And, I would just take it like one thing at a time. Like I just jumped off the boat and just swam to a whole new reality.
Mhm.
But if you can take things just one at a time, it's like, oh, if this person's draining me, then it's like, yo, we need to take a break. Or like, oh, I'm eating these foods and they don't sit well with me, then it's like, okay, eat one different food, you know? And if you're listening to a lot of rap music or a lot of music that's just really not uplifting your spirit, then find a classical song, find an upbeat electronic dance music song, like find a few other things and just start slow.
Yeah, because otherwise you'll get overwhelmed if you try to change everything all at once.
Yeah, and I did
Yeah.
that.
Sometimes that's what it calls for. And it's so, well, so then what happened with the Crohn's?
I healed myself that same year. I quit everything.
Wow. In a year.
Yep,
Because
1 year.
that's usually like a lifelong diagnosis, isn't it? For a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
people.
yeah, it's incurable to Western medicine.
So they would say that's impossible what happened.
They say you'll have it for life with possible remission.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I totally forgot about that part of your story. Um, yeah, because there's no better teacher than one who's gone through it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty rewarding. It's a miracle, honestly. And I've helped two other people also heal from Crohn's. So
nice.
yeah, it's
So it can be
definitely
done.
yeah, it's definitely possible. There's no doubt.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
All right, Alexander. Well, this has been a joy and a pleasure, and we should do this again.
Yeah, we will, Damien.
Um,
Absolutely.
and I'm going to have to check out your school thing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you
Um,
and Andrea would absolutely love it.
yeah,
Get a lot out of it.
because I love it that you do it on Sundays, and I like the whole how you described it. It's great because you're basically also a deal too, because a lot of in any individual thing would cost 35 or 40 or $50, but you're doing multiple things a month.
Hmm.
So that sounds like a really good deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels so in alignment. And, you know, like when I was doing a lot of these in Texas, like a lot of breathwork events and classes, sometimes I do two a week and I loved it, but I got so burnt out. And
Hmm.
on top of doing like one-on-ones, but like because I immersed myself, in the energies, being the law of vibration internally was then giving me the law of attraction back to me,
Mm.
law of
Like,
hermetics, right?
yeah,
So,
nice.
but because so much of it happened, then I got burnt out because I didn't take the time to actually rest and do nothing. And then now I've learned it's like, okay, I can do it online. I can do it like every other week, having that big event, have time to rest, do other things, and just really make sure I know how to take care of myself. Everything's going to be great. So,
Thanks for listening to the Gnostic Connection. From my heart to yours, may we all be loving, happy, powerful, and free.